Hi guys. Welcome to the messy kitchen, my friends. So, if you're here with me tonight, you will know that this is my collaboration piece with Nikki, Jessica, and Michelle. And so, I gotta tell you guys, I am so nervous. This is about my 5th attempt at transfer swipes, and it's so much different when I just stand here being a nerd in the kitchen painting for no reason other than because I want to. When I paint with a purpose, it all of a sudden becomes this scary, daunting task. It really does. So if you join me on a regular basis in the kitchen, you will know that I talk about all kinds of weird things. I talk about the raccoons, and I talk about the hummingbirds in the garden, and I talk about the kids next door and my grandbabies, and how rapidly approaching 60, my arms wave back to me in the bathroom mirror every morning when I'm curling my hair, and I have to write a grocery list to go to the grocery store. 5 out of 10 times I forget the list, and if I've brought the list, I forget my glasses and can't read the list, and on it goes. So I'm going to just paint tonight. I'm going to keep talking because I am really good at it. My mother always told me to go with my strengths. So I'm going to keep talking and painting. I will put all my descriptions in the box, in the description box. And I just want to say some thanks to a whole bunch of people. So first of all, to these 3 amazing ladies for allowing me to paint with them tonight. I'm extremely grateful, a little bit humbled maybe, and I just feel incredibly fortunate that they have allowed me to come and paint with them. So thank you to these 3 ladies. My next word of thanks goes to Sheely Carruthers. We all know who she is. A big thanks to this lady for bringing this incredibly beautiful, amazing fluid art technique to the world and letting, well, that should be interesting because that was cell mix and not white paint. Oh well, let's run with it. Bringing this fluid art technique to the world and letting you and I as artists kind of expand on it and just kind of run with it. So I tip my cup to this lady. Thank you so very much for bringing this to us. My next thanks, guys, goes to Fluid Art Company, you guys, and any other distributors where you and I get our products from. You know what? These guys work uber hard to get our packages out to us in a timely fashion, and big round of applause to the people at the Fluid Art Company and other distributors where you and I get products. Next thanks goes to the moderators and administrators of the Facebook groups, TikTok, anywhere where you and I post our videos. We all assume that we just push go or upload and they go. Somebody has to make them go. So these guys deserve some thanks as well. And my next word of thanks and the best word of thanks goes to you guys, the viewers, who, you guys are amazing. I tell you every single time I pour it, you guys are absolutely awesome. And you make every pour I do and every pour I post that much more special. So thank you so much to you guys. All right, so my award-winning speech is over. Thank God you're all saying. So I have to put my puddle down. I have really limited space and I have limited time. So because I have spent the majority of my life dancing to the beat of a drummer that is somewhat different than most, tonight's not going to be any different, guys. So I'm going to try a dry transfer. There's my board all painted. This is just painted with basic acrylic paint. I messed up here because I've painted this board once and I had to give it a wash off, so I'm going to go right over that. So there we go. A couple reasons why I'm doing this. 1, because I want to. And 2, because my kitchen is extremely small. My table is 3 by 3 and I have really limited space in which to paint. So dry transfer swipe is a really good way for me to be able to do something bigger and not have to spin it because it doesn't move a whole bunch. So here is my first swipe. So my my other reason, other than I want to, is I reached out to a friend of mine and told her what I was sort of thinking about doing. And she told me to be audacious. Audacious. That's a huge word. And the basic meaning of audacious is willing to kind of make a bold statement and do something unexpected. So here's me being audacious. Next color, guys. So when I started doing this, and I told you I'm super nervous, I reached out to Michelle and I said to Michelle, like, how am I going to get through this without sounding like a total ninny and sounding like I have some sort of reasonable intelligence? And Michelle just laughed at me and she told me, just do you. I thought, well, perfect. I can do that. So that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm just doing me. So I kind of want to... Well, I'm just going to keep talking because I'm good at it. All right, here's the benefit of the dry swipe. I can erase my boo-boos somewhat. A lot of you have asked me many times my background in painting, and I got to tell you guys, I have none. I have absolutely zero background in painting, you guys. I have no color theory. I came across painting kind of really very innocently and just sort of a fluky thing. I was living with a fellow at the time that watched huge amounts of TV, and it got really boring and really monotonous. And so I started painting furniture. And it was like winning the lottery to me when I went to the grocery store. I came home with my groceries, assuming that I had remembered my list. And I would find like a discarded table or a bookshelf or something on the side of the road, and I would drag it home and I would distress it and dry brush it and paint it all up. And I was still within earshot to meet the requests for coffee and sandwiches and all that stuff. And that's kind of where it all started. And then from there, we're just going to spin this a tiny bit, guys. From there, the same fellow and I went to the Brick one time to buy some furniture, and I came across an absolutely gorgeous piece of abstract art, and it was really expensive, like really expensive. And because I am quite frugal, cheap, there's no way I was going to pay the price for it. So I decided that I was just going to paint my own. To hell with it. So I went to the craft store, I bought everything I required to paint my own piece, and I did. And it's still, let's just about spin this right off. It's still hanging on my bedroom wall to this day. And that's kind of where it all started for me. So from there, I just kind of expanded on things. I started researching other techniques, and then I came across, guess what? The blooms. And at a time where the recipes were not available, we need a clean cloth, you guys. The recipes weren't available to the world yet. So I followed it really closely. And when the first bloom recipe became accessible, I raced to the hardware store, bought all my ingredients that I would require to bloom, came home, and I was going to knock it out of the park. And guess what, you guys? I couldn't do it. I couldn't bloom. I couldn't get cells. I couldn't do anything. So I tried for a really long time. I spent lots of money. I wasted buckets and buckets of paint, lots and lots of cash, probably cried a few tears along the way, I'm sure. And that was it. I put all my painting away into the cupboard for well over a year. And then my family decided that we were going to make Christmas just a little bit more personable and a little more thoughtful. And so the challenge for Christmas that year was that each person would get one gift of a cash denomination from the store, one gift that had to be a thrift store treasure, and something homemade. So I don't sew, and I wouldn't care if I ever had to cook. So what was I going to do? So I decided I was going to make bloom coasters, you guys. And I did, but this time with a little bit of a different attitude, because I think a lot of us get into I'm gonna bloom thinking that it's easy, it's just chuck and paint around, and it's not. So this time, with a better attitude, I started bloom coasters. I did succeed. Everybody did get bloom coasters for Christmas that year, and they were beautiful. Absolutely amazing. And that's it. That's kind of where my crazy train just kind of really revved up. So from there, I've just kind of expanded on the blooms, the swipes, the transfer swipes, and who knows where it goes from here, my friends. So, words of advice. Be kind to yourselves. All of these techniques, guys, they take time. And even when you find the recipe, it doesn't necessarily work the first time. So be kind to yourself. Start small. Bigger is not better, regardless of what they all say. Okay, start little. All right, my friends, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to thank you guys all for pouring with me in the messy kitchen tonight. You guys are awesome. Each and every one of you is amazing. Thank you guys. Bye for now.